Hi, this is Christina with the Knitting Lodge Resource Center, and I'm going to walk you through step 3 of our Knit With Me project, the Basic Rib Socks for Men, and this is the top-down version video. If you're looking for the toe-up version video, that's also on the Resource Center blog, and you can find both videos there. This is for top-down version. So in our first video, let's recap. We set up our materials, broke it up, our yarn up into 2 even skeins, and the second video taught the cast on, which was just a very loose cast on. We cast on 72 for the smaller size and 80 for the larger size, and began knitting in a 2x2 ribbing. Let me open that up so I could show that to you here. 2x2 ribbing. So it's still loose. There's some space in there to breathe. It looks very, very sharp, I think, for the guys. And this leg was knit down 8 inches. The pattern's calling for 8 to 10 inches for a comfortable length for the guys. So now we're ready to start the heel flap, and that's what this video is. The top-down version, just a standard heel flap. We're going to walk this through step by step. So we're ready to set up. We now have 18 stitches on both needles 1 and 3, and 36 stitches on needle 2 here for the smaller version. The larger version will be 20, 40, 20 for a total of 80. Okay, so we're ready to set up now. The first thing we want to do is to slip half of the needles on needle 2 onto a spare needle. This allows them to rest comfortably while you're knitting the heel flap across needles 1 and 3. So very quickly here, we'll just go ahead and slip these out. You'll end up slipping them back before you knit them again, so don't be super concerned about getting exactly half here. That's not a showstopper. The point is to give yourself room to work on the opposite side of the sock with these stitches out of the way. So we'll just put them to rest here and give them a little nap time. Sweet. All right. Give me a few more. Okay. Now those guys are resting comfortably back there, and on needles 1 and 3 here, we're going to knit all the way across using needle 3. We're going to knit all the way across needle 1. So we'll go ahead and do that now, and go ahead and keep up with me. That's fine. Get that out of the way. And you don't need to keep your pattern here. You can just knit straight across. And having those, the needle 2 stitches on spare needle keeps them out of the way there. Okay, not that one. He wants to be in the way. There we go. So I was doing the larger side, so I've got 80 stitches on the needle here. As you can see with this ribbing in the leg, it's held together very well. If the foot is feeling a little bit loose after we get to that point, we can always run ribbing down the front of the foot too. That's your choice. The pattern's written in just a stockinette foot. But today we're just going to talk about heels and setting up this heel flap. In the next video, we'll talk about turning the heel and working the gusset. So that'll be step 4 of our sock, and then on down the foot. So then the 5th video will be the toes and finishing the sock up. So if you're keeping up with the videos, great. If we're going a little too slow for you, be patient. We're knitting along too as we go and as we write these up for you. Okay, there you go. So now we have all the stitches from needle 1 are on one needle. You can see them spread out there. Okay, now we're ready to begin our heel flap, and we have one foundation row. We want to turn our work so that the wrong side is facing, and with this spare needle freed up, we're going to just simply purl across. So go ahead and do that with me now. And we'll begin our heel flap. If you've never done a heel flap before, don't despair. It's not hard. Just like all aspects of the sock, if taken in small doses, they're very easy to learn. It's the... sorry. Crash. Okay, very quickly we're going to knit this across. And I'm going to go ahead and leave those little bloopers in the video because I don't have another sock ready to do a heel flap on. So we're just going to rock on if that's okay with everybody. Just let you know it's a real person with real clumsiness and real needles and yarn. And again, this will be all, you should be knitting across the number of stitches you had set up. There's one stitch that didn't quite take. So a great example of, there it goes, it's just caught over there. I can still knit that through. Purl that through. It's quiet today. The last video I filmed, there was some guys repairing the roof on the building, so there was a lot of banging going on. I'm not quite sure how that translated across video. I'm sure somebody can clean it up. But it was a little distracting. So, all right, there we go. Quickly, so you should end up, when you're done purling across, if you want to do a check, that's fine. You would have 18 stitches for the smaller size and 20 stitches for the larger size. Getting a pull on my yarn here. Get all the obstacles out of the way. There we go. Then we can rock on. Now I use a continental method for purling. If you've never done this, I simply have the yarn tension on over my thumb, and as I purl, pick the stitch up with my right, and just lift that thumb up and over the needle, and you can actually squirrel along pretty fast like that. There you go. All right. Two more, and we are there. Now we are going to stop. Okay, so we've purled across. We can now turn our work back to the right side. Then we're ready to begin our heel flap. And what we're going to do is simply slip one. There's two rows, and we'll repeat those throughout. And the heel flap is as long as half of your cast on stitches. So let's just go ahead here, and we'll slip the first stitch. This is row 1. Slip the first stitch, knit the second stitch. Slip, knit, slip, knit. And you're slipping those as if you are knitting them. Slip it right off the needle. And then knit, slip right off the needle. If you're knitting English instead of continental, you would use the same technique. Just slip it right off the needle and over. Not a showstopper, okay. And over, and over, slip. I'm going to do this right across. Okay, I'm going to try going a little slower. Slip, knit, slip, and knit, slip, knit, slip. And then as I'm knitting those, I'm tensioning with my forefinger and just slipping it over the needle. See that? So over the needle and back through. Slip. And go ahead and work our way across that row. This is also a great way to double check your numbers. Make sure you've got the right count, because you always have to have an even row on your heel flap. And like I said, the length of your heel flap is going to equal with the number of stitches you had on this needle to begin with. So if you have 20 stitches on your needle, you're going to go 20 rows deep. Okay, so row 2 of the heel flap with the wrong side facing you, we're going to slip this first stitch, slip to purl, and then we purl across to the end. Now you will notice that underneath your purls on the alternate stitches, you have this little flappy guy here that's from where you slipped before, and I'll show you how you can use that to your advantage to count your stitches here in just a second. As you go along, you will be able to pick those up with a needle to count how many rows you have in place, counting 2 rows for each one that you pick up. And I'll show you what I mean by that before I cut you loose. And that way we'll meet up again on the next video when you have completed your heel flap and you're ready to turn it and move forward with decreasing around the gusset being the portion of fabric that decreases around the heel. That allows for the ease of your heel to move in and out of the sock. So heel flaps can be a little bit intimidating, but as you can see, there's nothing hard about the stitches I'm doing. You're just watching me purl. So we're purling all the way across, and we get to the next row, and we will turn our work towards us again. I'll be right with you there. Okay, so I am doing the 40. If you're only doing the, I'm sorry, I'm doing the 20 stitches on this. If you're only doing the 18, that's fine too. Perfect. Awesome. Nearing the end. Yep, okay, so we've purled across. We slipped the first stitch of this per the pattern, and we purl across. And here you have it. Now we're back. And we simply repeat these 2 rows all the way down. So we'll slip the first stitch, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit. Now let me show you what this looks like in the finished heel. I've got one heel flap done for you here. I'll move this one out of the way so you can see a nice square. It will be square because it's the same number of rows deep as it is wide. And I told you I would show you a trick. Never am I one to. This yarn is a little hard to see, but as you reach down, you can pick up. This is something somebody showed me a long time ago. Pick up these slip stitches from your front row. If you lose track on how many rows you've knit and your yarn is hard to see like this one, this is a very simple way to pick up those stitches and just count as you go. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've just counted 8 of those. And then you can count down how many rows you've actually knit because you're picking up those slip stitches. So try that again for you. Just slide those right in there. They shouldn't be difficult. If it's difficult, you might not be picking up the right ones. See that? Okay. And then you can just count every other row for those. So that's your tip. We're going to meet again when it's time to turn the heel. So you're going to work those 2 stitches. The first one being the slip 1, knit 1. The second stitch, or second row being slip your first stitch and then knit or purl across. So when you get to the end, go ahead and check out the next video on how to turn this heel and start decreasing that gusset and moving forward. Okay, thank you so much and good luck. Bye-bye.